So for the payment in kind interest, we already referenced that. So this will later on impact our model, our income statement going forward. So we have our net income there in place. And then we recall that we have to add back this payment in kind interest here in our cash flow statement because it's a non-cash item. As we talked about it earlier, that we add back any non-cash items such as depreciation, amortization, stock-based compensation, and deferred taxes, goodwill impairment, payment in kind interest as such. So we have the payment in kind interest here. We have to add it back. We reference the number there. You can fill it right with Control R. As you can see, it impacts operations going forward. So now we are ready to account for the finances section of this model, the cash flow statement, which we left. So now we want to fill in this section. So the revolving credit line, we have to reference whatever the payments were. We already summarized these at the very bottom of our debt summary section. So we go all the way down and we summarize all of these repayments up to the subordinated debt. We reference that amount there. We can copy this up to this point of the subordinated debt called BSF, business formulas. And then for the issuance and repurchase of equity, we also have it at the very bottom, which we calculated a while ago. So the issuance of equity and the repurchase is going to be right here. Sum both of those together, and the dividends it's going to be right in our retained earnings section. So we reference whatever the dividends there is. You can fill this all the way right, Control R. So we can now sum these together and we fill it right with Control R. So we have modeled this debt schedule, and as you can see, we have the cash from financing activities, which we left as the last section to be filled. We have it set up or model, and then we have our beginning cash balance of $5 million, and we have the ending cash balance of $5 million. As you can see, the key takeaway here is that one of the things that we have modeled here, which is very significant in this model, is that whatever the minimum cash balance was, as you can see, if we go to the transaction section, like I said a while ago, we had a $5 million cash balance. That balance pulls out here after all of the debt has been repaid, because all of the cash flow that is available from operations is used to pay down debt. So we have this amount that has been used to pay down debt, and everything is zeroed out at the end of the debt repayment. So we are left with this minimum cash balance of $5 million on the balance sheet. So apart from this $5 million, everything has been used to compensate the lenders and or the bondholders. So that is exactly what we have done so far in this model, and it's very, very important in LBO modeling, where you see all of the cash is used to pay down debt, because aggressive debt pay down enhances the value to the equity investors. So as you can see, the equity investors, that terminal value they are always looking for is based on aggressive debt pay down. So the terminal value usually is being offset by whatever balance was being used as a result to pay down debt. For example, if we had the balance sheet here, we would have said that whatever the long-term balance was, and then we offset that long-term balance with the cash, the cash that will be available, which is this $5 million, we offset that long-term balance with this cash, which is available, and then we take into consideration at the beginning of this model the exit EV to EBITDA multiple. We take this together and then we account for the enterprise value based on this exit EV to EBITDA multiple. We take the exit EV to EBITDA multiple, we multiply it by the EBITDA of the terminal year. So if we multiply the EV to EBITDA multiple by the EBITDA of the terminal year, we'll arrive at the enterprise value of this entire private equity. So when we arrive at the enterprise value, we can now offset that enterprise value by the net debt, which is the cash, this $5 million at the end of this period. We offset it by that cash to the total debt available at the end of the period. So we are saying that it's going to be that enterprise value minus the net debt. So if the net debt has been paid, if the debt has been paid up to, if everything has been almost paid off at the end of this leverage buyout, then as you can see that the equity investors will be taking almost everything as a result of that enterprise value. So they'll be taking almost everything except for the net debt that has been paid off. So aggressive debt pay down enhances the value to the equity investors. So this is very, very important in modeling, and this is why risky investors or investors who are non-risk adverse will embark on such strategies, such as institutional investors, such as hedge funds. They take upon such strategies because they know the value that is added as a result of aggressive debt pay down.